Om Shanti. Today Baba says that Baba is incognito. Yes, and he makes an incognito donation of the jewels of knowledge. And Baba's Murli always says that even the last child in Baba's family, we are a family of 33 crores. So even the last child in Baba's family, that is the one who would be placed at the 33 crore number, even that child is, Baba says, he is special and extraordinary compared to every other soul in the world. And Baba says, why is that one soul, even if that soul is at the last number, so unique and extraordinary? Because Baba says that child has recognized Baba. Even if that child has not been able to do as Baba says, or work his way through from Kali to Satyug, or not become 16 celestial degrees full, still that soul is very important and much better compared to the other souls, because that soul has recognized Baba. And Baba is incognito. You can't see Baba. Baba doesn't come dressed as Sri Krishna. So he comes in an ordinary old body. He sits in that body, talks, shares the truth with us. But it requires the third eye to recognize Baba. And then Baba says, not only is Baba incognito, but what Baba gives is the jewels of knowledge. And that is also incognito, because very few understand the value of these jewels of knowledge. And, when I was not in Gyan, we used to, there are these sayings in the world, and they say, if you give a jewel to a monkey, what will the monkey do? You give a jewel to the monkey will throw it away. So the monkey doesn't realize this is a jewel or recognize this is a jewel. So it's huge to recognize Baba, and it's also very huge to recognize the value of what Baba is giving. Yes, and then it is again a big task to use those jewels. One is you have the jewels of knowledge and you know their value. Second thing is you put them into use and you actually create a deity out of that. And then Baba says that I give you the kingdom of the world in an incognito way. So there is no fighting, no quarreling, no dispute, no bombs, nothing you need to use, and you become the master of the world. Yes, and you just look at this whole process. It is so wonderful. These days, you want anything in the world. Yes, even if they are two brothers and they need a division in the property, they fight for it. So there is so much of quarreling and fighting And Baba in the Murli today gives an example that if somebody has to take over a village, it's just a small, poor village. And then there is so much of quarreling and fighting and so much that one has to do for owning that village. And here Baba is giving us the whole kingdom of golden age. And there is absolutely nothing negative that we need to do for it. Baba says, you just belong to me. I am giving you the jewels of knowledge. You adorn yourself with that. And once you imbibe these jewels of knowledge, you become eligible to rule over the kingdom of heaven. And when this COVID came, I received a message. It was forwarded by somebody, but it was really nice. And they said that, everything that is tamo pradhan is vibrating at a certain frequency. And it will attack you only if you are also vibrating at that same frequency. So what you do is vibrate higher. Yes, so let's understand this law. First thing, when I think it was Buddha, and he said that if somebody is giving you something abusive, somebody is giving you bad words, somebody is giving you abusive behavior, and you don't take it, then it stays with that person. Yes? So, for ages, these enlightened souls, these dharmatmas, have been telling us that there are two people required. There are two entities required for any act of negative exchange to take place. So, somebody is giving you something bad and you are taking that from that entity, only then will this negative exchange happen. If you don't take it, then that stays with that same person and then there is no exchange. But then if somebody has a sanskar that's negative and you also have a sanskar that is negative, then you take what they give. Yes, you don't take because they are giving you. You take because your sanskar is also a similar sanskar as them. Yes, let's understand this thing. So, if somebody has ego, how do you recognize they have ego? Because you also have an aspect of ego that is similar to theirs. If you don't have it, you will never recognize they have ego. Yes? If there is a small child and that child doesn't have any ego, until now at least, then somebody is showing off or somebody is behaving in an egoistic manner, that child doesn't get affected because he doesn't have ego, so he can't take the other person's egoistic behavior inside. So it takes two parties for any negative exchange to take place, two negative parties. Now, if you look at the elements of nature also, even if nature is at its most tamopradhan stage, and even if it is at its most degraded state, if you are not at the same frequency, then nature cannot affect you. Yes, so Do you understand that Baba uses this simple method, which was put very simply in that message, that vibrate higher. So Baba says, if you don't want to be affected by this negativity around you, if you want to create a different reality for yourself, all you need to do is vibrate higher. And for that, Baba is giving us a very simple method. Have yoga with the higher one or the highest one. So when you are in remembrance, when your man and buddhi is connected with the people, the places, the elements in and around you, which are in a tamopradhan stage, then you are pulled into their frequency. But if you unplug your man and buddhi and take it to Baba, who is the ocean of knowledge, peace, purity, happiness, power, then you will be pulled into his frequency. And then you start vibrating higher, and then anything around you is not able to affect you, first thing. And second thing, you can create a different reality for yourself. Now Baba in the Murli says this very simply. Baba says that you only have to remember me. So Baba says the Father sits here and explains to you so easily. He doesn't give any difficulty to these innocent stone intellect ones. They too have to be uplifted. They say, Baba, I am uneducated. The Father says, it is very good that you haven't studied anything. Forget all the scriptures, etc. that you have studied. I am not teaching you a great deal. I simply tell you, remember me and the kingdom is yours. So Baba says you don't have to learn anything. You have to just unlearn whatever you have studied. And there is this one simple method I am teaching you. Remember me and the kingdom is yours. Your boat will go across. When a son is born, he says Baba and has a right to his inheritance. So just by saying Baba, just by knowing this is Baba, you have a right to inheritance. Here too, you claim a right to it. As soon as you remember Bab Dada, the kingdom becomes yours. This is why it is remembered that you receive liberation in life in a second. So Baba says you don't have to remember too much. In fact, it is not about learning anything. It is about just forgetting everything that you know and remember. And just remember one, that is Baba, and the kingdom will belong to you. Now this is the simple method. Now Baba says in the Murli that the Father is giving you the incognito donation of the jewels of knowledge which the world doesn't know about. Then by donating these jewels of knowledge, you children claim the kingdom of the world. This too is incognito. There is no war, no explosive, etc., nor is there any expense. The Father donated the kingdom to you in an incognito way, and this is why great importance is given to an incognito donation. So many people say that there is this concept of Gupta Dan, incognito donation. So they say whenever you give something, it should be Gupta, it shouldn't be revealed. And Baba says, why is there so much praise of Gupta Dan? Because Baba gives us Gupta Dan. And Baba says today that no one knows how incognito the Father is, they don't understand where all of you Brahma Kumars and Kumaris go or what you do. Yes, so nobody understands. So God comes, He sits in a body, He gives the jewels of knowledge, He changes humans to deities, and there are very few people who come to know of this whole process. It is so incognito. And I like an example that Santosh Bhaiji always gives in the class, that if Sri Krishna or Sri Ram were to come and stand in front of you, but Sri Krishna came without the, the peacock feather or the chakra or whatever, and Sri Ram came without the bow and arrow, would you recognize them? Okay, so this is a very interesting question. So we have to think for ourselves, what is our recognition capacity? So do we recognize, even there are so many people who come and ask us in the center, how do you recognize a good person from a bad person? Although there is no good person or bad person, everybody is a mixed bag of sanskars. But whatever, if somebody has come with an intention to deceive you, how do you recognize them? So mostly we don't recognize people until they deceive us, do we? How many of you recognize people who come with an intention to deceive you? You don't recognize them until they have deceived you and left you. So do you understand that our recognition skills are really bad? We don't recognize people also. There are so many people who don't recognize that there is somebody who loved them and really cared for them until they leave them. So do we recognize goodness, or do we recognize virtues? Do we recognize love? So we have to think about these matters. And then Baba says, I am the ocean of truth. I am the ocean of purity. I am the ocean of love. I am the ocean of power. But you will need a third eye to recognize me. And only the children who recognize Baba stay with him. And only the ones who stay with him take the inheritance. Okay? This is not a journey where, this is not a journey where you just stay because you like it. Maya will make you pass through many exams. And you will only be able to hold on to Baba. You will only be able to be with Baba even after those exams if you have deeply and truly recognized that this is the ocean of truth, ocean of love, ocean of peace, ocean of purity, ocean of power. And Baba says, I come in an incognito form. I do not have the physical features of God. So, I don't look like Sri Krishna. And it's very interesting that people say that when Sri Krishna was, in Gita it is said that, not in Gita, in Bhagavad it is said that Sri Krishna was present in his full, the 16 celestial degrees, full form. And he looked like a deity, complete deity. And then people used to stop their mothers and sisters and brothers to go and meet him. Yes, so they were stopped from running after him. But do you understand that if actually God came in that form, nobody would stop you from going? So there are all these obstacles because he comes in an incognito form, and God never comes in such a revealed form. So Baba says, I come in an ordinary body, in the body of an old man, and that is why people fail to recognize me, and that is why there is so much of obstacles that you face, because people don't know that this is God sitting and teaching you. But it's not important whether people know or not. What's important is whether you know or not who is teaching you. Because, if so I remember there was this one incident that somebody shared, that once, Dadi Janki ji organized a lunch, Brahma Bhojan, and she called somebody of great repute, and she requested Baba to have lunch with that soul. And she said that I have, always you set the program. Today I will set the program, Janki Dadi said. And she said, I have planned that this soul will have lunch with you. So Baba, you have to come and you have to have lunch with this soul. Then Baba said, okay, no problem. If the child has set the program, then Baba will do as he is directed. And then Baba sat, Baba had lunch with the child. And then after that child left, Baba asked Dadi, did the child know who he is having lunch with? So did you give him the full introduction that he is sitting and having lunch with that one who God has chosen as his chariot and through whose mouth God speaks? So Dadi said, oh, I was so busy in making the arrangements, I forgot to give him the introduction. So, so then Baba says, it requires great skill to even copy appropriately. Nakal mein bhi akal chahiye. And then Baba said that just because I do things you will copy, it doesn't work like that. And now you see, consider the fate of that child. He had lunch with Baba, but he doesn't know he had lunch with Baba. So he sat in the, beside the chariot of Baba. He had lunch with Baba's vehicle, and he is not even aware of his fortune. Just think about his loss. So Baba says that Baba has come in an incognito way. So do you recognize that this is God and this is who I am actually listening to? This is the one talking to me. This is the one who has himself come to liberate me. How many of you recognize Baba because he's incognito? Yes? Do you recognize Baba? Raise your hand if you do. Yes? And those who don't, then do you understand the loss you're having? Listening from God, talking to God, and then not knowing is God. So this is something. Then the second thing is recognizing that these are the jewels of knowledge. Recognizing the value of the jewel of knowledge. And I gave you the example of the monkey who is given the jewels, but he doesn't know that it's a jewel. So he can't use it the way it should be used. And today in the Murli, Baba is talking about the jewel of knowledge of drama. And Baba says, you are an actor and this is a drama. And the scenes will change. Every scene you have to play your role. But then when you are on the stage, it's just your act that matters. But your identity is not dependent on that act. Because you are a soul anyway, you belong to Baba anyway, you have your sweet home anyway. So now let's understand this thing. In the world there are actors, yes? And let's take Amitabh Bachchan. He is an actor and then he has a family, he has his own identity. Correct? He is a person, he has a family, he has a home, he has an identity. And if he performs badly in a movie, his income is compromised, but not his identity. Correct? He will get less income if he performs badly in a movie, but he will not lose his identity because of a bad performance. Right? Yes? Similarly, Baba says, you are on this stage. You are an actor. When you perform badly, you lose your income of good karma. Okay? So you will be in credit or debit based on your performance. So the role is important because it is here on the stage that you are performing karma. And that karma is putting you in a position of credit or debit. Whether you are karmically wealthy or you are in karmic debt will be determined by what you do on this stage. But that will not affect your identity. Because you are still a soul, you are still imperishable, you still belong to Baba, you still have a sweet home, you still are an actor. So Baba says, when you understand this jewel of knowledge, so this is a jewel, and if this jewel sits in your buddhi, so if you are able to imbibe this piece of knowledge, then you will perform your role nicely. You will perform like a hero actor, but you will also know that this is not important to your identity. So you're still who you are, and you are interested in good karmic income, so you do your role well. So Baba says, this is the jewel of knowledge that I am giving you. And Baba is giving us many such jewels of knowledge. The knowledge of who you are, the knowledge of the qualities of the soul, the knowledge of my parent, the knowledge of the enormity of the virtues and powers of my parent, the knowledge of the drama, the knowledge that I am an actor. And today Baba is also talking about the capacity of the soul to be a detached observer. So a soul can a soul has this capacity. So Baba has given us the knowledge of all the capacities that we have. And Baba says, you have the capacity to watch as a detached observer. So all of you have sometime in your life, you must have sat on a seat in the theater and watched the screen as a detached observer. Yes, you must have sat on your seat in the theater and watched a fight sequence, a tragedy, everything in a state of smile on your face, right? Because that's part of the on-screen drama, and that's not your life, that's not important to your identity. So Baba says, once you understand that this is a drama and you are an actor, so when you observe the parts being played by other actors, you can just relax in your seat of soul consciousness and watch the scene as a detached observer. Can you do that? And Baba says, if you practice that, then in the end, you will be able to watch every scene and not get affected by it, because this is just a drama. And just like you know how to watch a limited drama, you should know how to watch this unlimited drama. And I will tell you one experience that one girl shared with me, this young sister, and she said that, Didi, ever since I was a small kid and as far long back as I can remember, my parents used to fight a lot. And I used to get really traumatized by their fighting. And whenever they fought, it left a very deep scar inside me somewhere. And I was really scared that they shouldn't fight. So a lot of my life I spent with the fear that they will fight, and I was making some attempts on my own that they shouldn't fight. So whenever there was a situation where there was something that my mother wanted to hide, I made sure she could hide it so that they didn't fight. Or there was something that I saw wrong with my father, I never shared with my mother because I was very scared there would be a fight again. And then she said, then I got Gyan. And then in Gyan, I understood that you can sit on a seat and watch it like a game. Yes, so it's a drama. It's two other actors enacting their part. And it has got nothing to do with you, because right now you are not a participant in that scene. So you can just watch it without getting emotional and in a very detached state. So she said, after Gyan, there was this one day when there was this big fight at home. And then suddenly, Baba gave me this realization that you can watch it like a detached observer. And what I did is I actually found a seat in that room. I found a chair and I sat very comfortably, and I just sat like a soul watching a drama. And then that's the first time that I had no trauma seeing that scene. And I could see that that's a karmic settlement between two other souls. And there is nothing that I need to do in this situation. So let me just sit in Baba's remembrance and create a powerful atmosphere while they settle their karmic account. And she said, Didi, ever since that, my life has been different, and I see a change in the way I feel and the way on the inside, I feel different, and I have great power and great strength in facing similar situations. So now do you understand that this is a jewel of knowledge if you can apply it properly? But again, that example of the monkey, and a monkey is known for being vicious. And a monkey has a lot of attachment and a lot of lust. And that's why Baba says, if you don't work on your attachment and your lust, you will not be able to recognize these jewels and put it into practice. So this is why Baba says, practice of purity and practice of, understanding that you only belong to one Baba. This is imperative to using these jewels of knowledge. And then Baba says, I give you the kingdom, which is also incognito. Nobody comes to know that through this internal practices, you are raising your frequency and you're making yourself eligible for a different world. Okay? So this is why everything that is happening is incognito, and it requires some use of the third eye to actually recognize and appreciate what's going on. And then in the blessing, Baba is talking about the power of truth. And Baba says, when you children imbibe the power of truth and become master lawmakers, matter will become Sato Pradhan, and the age of truth will be established. All souls create their fortune of salvation. Your truth is like a touchstone. Just as a touchstone is able to turn iron into gold, in the same way the power of truth makes souls, matter, time, all material things, all relations, all sanskars, diet and interaction with others, Sato Pradhan. So Baba says, when you hold this power of truth inside you, then everything around you starts changing. Now in the meditation, I told you that there are many things that are told about truth, but I pointed out two things. One is, it is said power of truth, and the second thing is said, the truth will set you free. And what is the truth that has power, and what is the truth that sets you free? Now, it's not that truth which we say in day-to-day life. If you committed a theft and you go and tell somebody that I committed this theft, you go to the police station and tell them, they will put you behind bars. It will not set you free. Yes, so what is the truth that sets you free? And what is the truth that is power? So this truth about who you really are is very powerful. The truth about drama, the truth about who you really belong to, who your parent is very powerful. And how many of you recognize that after you came to Baba, you feel fearless and powerful? Yes, so there are some who recognize that, and this is what truth does to you. If you really hold the truth in your awareness, the truth that you are an imperishable soul, the truth that you belong to the ocean himself, and there is nothing unattained for you because you can take it from the ocean whenever you want, and the truth that this drama is eternal and imperishable, and you are always a part of this drama. The scene may change, the co-actors may change, but you are imperishable, the drama is imperishable. If you really churn over it and imbibe it within yourself, then this truth will set you free, and that this truth will make you fearless and very powerful. And Baba says, and when you vibrate at this frequency, then everything around you, because your body is made up of 5 elements of matter, so the first contact point with your higher frequency is your body, and that is made of 5 elements of matter. So when you vibrate differently, the 5 elements of matter also start getting affected, and then everything around you starts to shift slowly and gradually. Okay. Om Shanti.